Well, hi, this is Art Jaggy or Jaggy Does Art, and today I'm gonna try to show you how to render your art without dying in the process, or at least how to do rendering in an aesthetic and watercolory way, if that makes sense. Well, first I start with the flat coloring. I'm just using a round normal brush to do all the flat coloring, add all the colors. And you see I struggle a bit when choosing the right tones, the right saturation, because in my art style I tend to use more warm and pink colors. They are less saturated, but they are usually around this. I try all the colors to be a little pink or in the red or with red undertones, so it looks all very harmonious, if that makes sense. Here I am the type to just color it all and then clean it later with a eraser, but I know there's some people who do it the other way around, who just clean and make their lines clean. Here I am correcting the shapes because I noticed that his shoulder was a little too big and the angle wasn't quite right, so I was just trying to correct it using the lasso tool. I use Clip Studio, by the way, if it's not very obvious. And after I clean the shapes and lines, I fix the spaces that were empty. And here I do like a big color correction because I didn't like the tone I chose for his shirt, so I went for a very pinker one, a little brighter. And you will also see me changing the tones for his skin and his hair, because I didn't quite like the tones I had chosen. They were a bit, I didn't want his hair to be too similar to his skin, so I had to change a bit the colors. Here I just come back to flat coloring by adding the right colors to his eyes. And here I'm just continuing the drawing I uploaded in my other video. So yeah, I'm just changing the colors. Here I start coloring line art because I don't like all black line art, so I just take the base color I chose for that part I'm coloring and take it way down and make it a very darker, so it's close to black but it's not exactly black, so it can make a bit of sense. So the line art has a bit of color and at the same time the division is well done. And here it's a bit funny because I realized I had forgotten to add the letters to his shirt, the letters and the little drawing it has. I had forgotten about it completely, so you'll see me add it in this part of the video. And in general I just do the same. I color it, I change the color of the line art, and I use the Artvlog, or what's similar to the Artvlog in Clip Studio. And yeah, I'm just adding details, changing a bit of colors, and then I start with the shadows. In this drawing it was a bit easier because I had the Bakugo's drawing, so I could like choose exactly where the shadows will go. But you'll see me also adding some shadows of my own. I think shadows are, for me at least, are just intuitive. I see them and I think, well, a shadow would go well here, and I just add it, even if it wouldn't make sense in real life. And with shadows, what I do is I take the base color that I already said it's a bit pinkish, and I just take saturation a bit up, change the hue a bit, and make the color a bit darker. I also have a very specific way to do like face shadows, that it is, I change the opacity of my layers in a very specific way. I have it already memorized what what number of opacity goes in each layer for each part. So you see that the darkest layers, the layers with the more opacity, are the very strong shades, like under his nose or the lips, or maybe the deepest part under his chin, where the shadows are very strong. And then the other layers are have a little less opacity because those shadows are not as deep as the other ones. But I like to do a bit of what is it called? I forgot. Blend. I like to blend the layers. I like the space right in between those two layers, so the change between one layer and the other one, and the colors and the other one will not be so harsh. Also in the face, if it's like this, that it's a 3/4, I like to add one side of the face that has a lot more shade than the other one. And you just see me adding the shades that I seen in Bakugo's original drawing, and also in my own shades. With eyeshadows, I already have like a selected color of shadows for like the white part, because I never do whole white. You don't want pure white, never, because if you use pure white, you are losing all options of highlights, and you don't want that. Now to give this watercolory sense, I use a specific brush that it's free. It comes with Clip Studio. I do not know the exact name, but it's a watercolory one. And I choose a blush color for the skin, depending on the skin color. And I just construct it as if I was drawing with normal watercolors. You go from the clearest ones, the softest shades, to the darkest ones in different layers. You'll see me adding this type of blush in the nose, in his cheeks, especially his under eye. Here I'm doing the shadows of the clothes, because in the original picture Bakugo is wearing a black shirt, and since Horikoshi's or Boku no Hero's style, it's so simple, they just don't add it, since his shirt is black, and they just focus on highlights. But I didn't want to do that because that wouldn't go so well with my style, so I added I didn't overdo it. I think I just added some shades that I thought would make sense. And here I'm adding the hair. I call it the hair blush, but I know hair doesn't blush. I just do exactly the same that I did with the face, with this watercolory brush, and I do it with the hair. Especially since Bakugo has pointy hair, it's way easier. So you just do it on the hair ends. And I must say, here comes my favorite part, and those are the highlights. Here I'm adding the same highlights he had in his shirt, but I must say my favorite part of highlights are the face highlights, because I have this chosen color that is like an orangey white that I add. I usually add it on the eyelids and nose. I do very specific ones on the face, those lines are around the cheekbones, and I think those just make the whole drawing send out this like glossy state, and I just love it. And I tend to add it in all the skin. Then I'm adding the hair highlights, and finally I'm just adding my watermark and cleaning some dirty brushes I left on there, or cleaning the line art. Here you have the final product, and I hope you liked it.